This is the extensor digitorum lateralis. It's a small muscle here on the lateral antebrachium. It's the third of four muscles in the craniolateral group that we'll be covering. It's bordered by the extensor digitorum communis muscle that's here in front of it, and the extensor carpi ulnaris that's here caudally behind it. This muscle is closely linked in location of origin, muscle belly, and tendons of insertion to the extensor digitorum communis muscle, and they both perform similar functions of extending the digits. Again, we see that redundancy of action is really important in the dog. Injury to one of these muscles and the other muscle can pick up some of the load. They do differentiate in their action to some extent, of course, but having that redundancy is still going to be really important. This muscle consists of two muscle bellies. The first muscle belly originates from the cranial edge of the lateral collateral ligament of the elbow joint, and the second muscle belly originates from the lateral epicondyle in the humerus. You'll often just see this listed as originating from the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, and this is largely for simplification, but it's also not entirely inaccurate because the lateral collateral ligament of the elbow is going to attach proximally here on the lateral epicondyle of the humerus. So while one of these muscle bellies is going to attach to a ligament and not to the bone itself, they're both essentially coming from the same location on the bone. These muscle bellies are closely interlinked here, and together they run down the lateral antebrachium, hence the name lateralis. This is a small muscle that's about half the size of the extensor digitorum communis muscle in front of it, and about halfway down the antebrachium, the muscle bellies will transition into two tendons. The more cranial tendon is smaller, and the more lateral or caudal tendon is larger. I've essentially depicted them here as one tendon because they're going to stay together, and they're generally going to be wrapped in a synovial sheath. At the distal antebrachium, they pass through the groove here that's created between the bones of the radius and the ulna. As they pass over the dorsal lateral carpus here, they're going to be covered by the extensor retinaculum that will help hold all the tendons in place here. And you can palpate this tendon here on the lateral carpus. Below the carpus, these tendons are going to diverge, and the more caudal tendon is going to go down metacarpal 5 to the proximal phalanx of digit 5. Here it's going to unite with that tendon of the extensor digitorum communis muscle, and then they will run together and insert primarily into the extensor process of the distal phalanx of digit 5 here. This cranial tendon is going to split into two and descend down the third and fourth metacarpals. Again, at the proximal phalanges, these tendons also merge with the tendons of the extensor digitorum communis muscle and insert mainly into the extensor processes of the dorsal distal phalanges of digits 3 and 4. This muscle is known to be very tight. It has long tendons and short muscle fibers, similar to the extensor digitorum communis muscle. This means that it may store elastic energy during movement. However, its location here on the lateral forearm suggests that it may be more important for stabilization and to absorb ground reaction forces. Injury to this muscle is not commonly reported, though due to this small size and the redundancy of the action like we discussed with the extensor digitorum communis muscle and some of the other surrounding muscles here in this group, injury to this muscle could easily go unnoticed. Like all the muscles in the craniolateral group, it's innervated by the radial nerve. Next week, we're going to be covering the final muscle in the craniolateral antebrachial group, the extensor carpi ulnaris here, also sometimes called the ulnaris lateralis. Thanks for watching.